it's Kaylee here from Fit with Kaylee, and today I want to talk to you about how I find time to prioritize my fitness when life is just getting a little too crazy. So I'm going to start by telling you about two different times in my life when one of the times I had a ton of time to exercise, and the other, which is more recent, I had hardly any time to exercise. When I graduated with my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, I decided to take 2 years off of school. And this was just because I was working 2 jobs and I was taking all these classes and trying to get my GPA up to a competitive level for grad school. And I was so tired by the time I graduated that I couldn't even think about doing school anymore. And so I said, okay, I told myself I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to get a job as a personal trainer and a coach, and I'm just going to focus on myself for a little bit, kind of take some time off and not have to do homework for a couple years. I ended up working at a gym and I really loved what I was doing. I had a huge facility that I could use at my disposal for my own personal workouts, and then I was also making really good money and training a lot of really great people. During this time, I was at this job from 9 to 10 hours a day, and I would train maybe 6 or 7 of those hours. I'd have some meetings, and then I would have 1 to 2 hours of a gap where I could eat lunch, work out, and then take a shower and go back to training. And it was during this time that I also started working out with some really awesome people, and we all started training and doing this program that an online coach had sent me, and it was my first exposure into Olympic weightlifting. I got really interested in doing this type of weightlifting and this type of exercise in general. For the first time, I wasn't thinking that I had to work out. It was more something that I wanted to do, that I love to do. The thing about this type of weightlifting is that it takes a lot of time. And it takes a lot of time because you have to learn the techniques, you have to learn how to do them properly, and then you also have to take a lot of time to build up strength. So each of my workouts, I needed to do at least an hour and a half of training. And I would spend maybe an hour of that time doing a little bit of warm up or muscle activation. I would spend a good 45 minutes doing the lifts themselves. And then the last 30 minutes I would do high intensity interval training, Tabata circuits, or what you would call in CrossFit a WOD, or a workout of the day. And so I was working out for a really long time. This was totally fine because I had the time to do it. I had days off where I could come in and I could work out for up to 2 hours. It was great. It was awesome. I prioritized my fitness. It was probably one of the top things that I was doing at that time. And as far as life priorities go, I was just only focused on fitness, only focused on work, and then obviously my faith, going to church and stuff like that, and then my family and friends, obviously those come first. Because I was able to prioritize so much of my time to weightlifting and to working out, how I looked changed completely, how I carried myself changed completely, and it was awesome. It was super cool. Then I kind of got sick of training in general. I didn't really want to do it anymore, and I knew I wanted to go to grad school and I wanted to get my PhD. So I went from only having 1 job to taking 3 classes, doing a teaching assistant or being a TA, so I was learning how to teach. I was starting to get into research, and I had 2 jobs up in Northern California. I was so busy. I was really, really busy. My life just flipped upside down. So whereas before I had 2 years of really solid foundational training and working out was my only priority, now my priority was school. And so my exercise shifted when my life was kind of flipped over on its head. I was working out an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week, and now it shifted to working out maybe 45 minutes to an hour a day, and maybe only 3 or 4 times a week. And so my daily living changed from being up on my feet all day, working out all day, just being active, hardly ever sitting, to contrasting to the last 2 years of my master's program, sitting for most of my day, commuting way more than I ever did, and not working out as much. This was a really hard transition, but it really helped me to understand what it meant to prioritize the things that were important to me. Prioritizing things in your life, it can be really, really hard because, there's that analogy of you have all these plates that you're trying to keep spinning and, trying to make sure that none of the plates fall. But I don't really like that analogy because we're using that analogy of a thing in your life being a plate. It insinuates that each of those things in our lives have equal value. And unfortunately, that's just not true. When I wasn't in school, working and exercising were two of my top priorities for sure. Now that I'm in school, my number one priority, aside from, again, my faith and my family, is my education. I want to do well in school. I want to get good grades and produce research. And in order to do that, I need to sacrifice a lot of my time. And because of that, I kind of have to pull from that time that I was spending working out and throwing it into research and studying. So I don't really like using that analogy of spinning plates, because right now in my life, school is more important to me than exercise. Now, it's really hard for me to say because exercise has always been a huge part of my life. It will always be a huge part of my life, but I understand that for the next 7 years, or now the next 5 years, it's okay if I don't have the best physique. It's okay if I'm not the strongest person. That's like lower on my totem pole of priorities. But because I don't really think that the things that I'm doing in my life have equal priority all the time, I don't like to use that analogy of spinning plates. Instead of using that analogy, I kind of like to think of my priorities much like I think of my budget, or I should say our budget, because I'm married. We share our money. Yay. You know, there are certain things that are in Kevin and my budget right now that might not be in your budget. Your budget and the things that you put your money towards are going to be different than what I put my money towards. So what I did with my time is I budgeted my time much like I budgeted my money. When I started grad school, I looked at my schedule and I said, okay, there is no possible way for me to work out 2 hours a day anymore. Maybe there's going to be an off day where I will have the time to do that, but for right now, I have to assume in my head that I don't have enough time to budget towards 2 hours a day of exercise. Instead, what I had to do was reshuffle things around, and I wrote down everything that I had to do in my life at that point on a piece of paper. It's important to understand that you have a financial budget, and prioritizing certain things in your life financially is important, but you can also mirror that to your time and your life. So making a life or a time budget, I think, is just as important as making a financial budget. So all of this to say that I'm still healthy, I'm still exercising, but my life is way different and I might look a little bit different, and that's okay with me. I have goals, and so far I am kicking butt with those goals, and but by the grace of God that all of this stuff is happening, and I'm really excited about it. That being said, I'm probably not gonna have a six-pack for the next 5 years. Am I okay with that? Yeah, because at the end of 5 years, I'm gonna have a doctorate. So it's like, six-pack or doctorate? I don't know which one I'm gonna choose. I would much rather have the doctorate for sure. If you are in a position where your time is opening up and you can change your priorities and your time budget, I highly suggest that you do it. Put more time into working out. If it's on the flip side where you used to have all this time and now you don't have anything, don't beat yourself up. If you went from working out 2 hours a day, now you're only working out a half hour a day, that's still something, and it's still gonna make positive changes on your body. Hope this helped you. If it did and you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Monday. Thanks guys, bye.